The mining town of Moonville popped up in Benton County in the mid-1800s when the Marietta and Cincinnati Railroad purchased the land from Samuel Coe to lay tracks for a new railway. 1856 marked the first year of the town of Moonville's existence. At its peak, Moonville sustained about 100 miners and their families. The town consisted of a saloon, depot, schoolhouse, a strip of homes, and a cemetery. However, less than 100 years later, the last family abandoned Moonville and the land had been drained of its once valuable natural resource, coal. Moonville was completely abandoned by the 1940s and was the definition of a ghost town. With the overgrowth of trees and shrubs, along with the deteriorating tunnel, many hikers do not even realize they are walking through a once thriving mining town. Many do not even realize Moonville was a town, instead thinking Moonville is just the name of the tunnel. These stories of an abandoned mining town, coupled with a massive old tunnel in the middle of the Zaleski State Forest, it is not hard to see how ghost stories begin to pop up about the area, specifically the tunnel. The main ghost story that is told about Moonville is about a brakeman that was run over and killed by a train in the tunnel. Aside from these facts, the details get foggy. The retelling of the story over and over the years has distorted facts from here. One version says that he was trying to get the train to stop because Moonville was in the grip of a plague and was running low on supplies. However, this seems unlikely considering the incident happened in 1859 and the town of Moonville was still up and coming at that point. Whatever way you look at it, a lot of deaths took place in Moonville in a short amount of time. These deaths range from people getting caught walking through the tunnel by a train barreling through, to people getting caught crossing the trestles high over Raccoon Creek and falling to their death. With a high volume of deaths in a rather small town, ghost stories will begin to swirl. Train conductors and engineers consistently saw the Moonville ghost. The ghost is described as wearing white robes, having a long white beard, and holding a lantern at the end of the tunnel as trains would enter. Sightings were so authentic that conductors would engage their train's brakes to avoid hitting whatever they saw at the end of the tunnel. This happened so frequently that conductors were ordered to not stop for anything they saw near the Moonville tunnel. This picture shows a daytime view of the tunnel with the tracks still in place. Many people died trying to cross these trestles. Here you can see nighttime views of the trestles after the tracks had been removed. The trestles used to extend much higher above Raccoon Creek, which caused many people to lose their balance and fall to their death in the shallow creek below. These trestles are no more than 100 yards in front of the tunnel entrance, so deaths that occurred here are linked to the deaths that occurred inside the tunnel. When I visited the Moonville tunnel, I captured what appeared to be orbs in many of my pictures. Those who believe in ghosts believe that these orbs are spirits of the dead. I'm a little skeptical about this, but the fact that so many of these photos have orbs really says something. Nevertheless, it adds to the spookiness. Inside of the tunnel is where I photographed the majority of the orbs. Now obviously this could be dust because I'm inside a tunnel that is 150 years old, but in order for dust particles to resemble orbs on camera, they must be within 4 inches of the lens, and many of these orbs appear much farther away than that. I also captured many of the orbs by the creek where the old trestles used to be. According to the legend, this is where many people died and where the second ghost of the tunnel lurks. With orbs appearing outside of the tunnel, this cuts down the chance that the orbs are simply dust particles in the air from the tunnel. To me, the fact that many orbs are photographed outside of the tunnel at the creek further supports the idea that these orbs may be something other than dust particles. This is also where the majority of confirmed deaths were, so it would make sense that a high volume of ghosts would be outside of the tunnel at the creek, where many people would fall to their death. There were several photographs that stuck out to me because I captured smoke on camera that was not there when I took the picture. It was too warm to be someone's breath, and I didn't even find the smoke in the pictures until I looked at the pictures the next day. This was by far the most interesting and unexplainable thing that I photographed that night. The Hope Furnace is located a couple miles down the road from the Moonville Tunnel. Situated next to Lake Hope, the furnace was used to process minerals that were extracted by the workers in Moonville. Legend has it, a watchman fell into the molten iron and died. It is said that he still haunts the furnace to this day, which would explain why some of these pictures contain the orbs. The Moonville Cemetery lays deeper in the woods than the tunnel itself. To get there, I had to drive up a winding, muddy road which dead-ended into the cemetery at the top of the hill. The cemetery itself is missing the vast majority of its headstones, so it's hard to tell just how many people are actually buried here. However, being the only cemetery for the town, I'd expect the number to be somewhere in the hundreds. Although the cemetery has no specific ghost stories about it, I would expect that it would be just as haunted as a tunnel. It was definitely just as scary to be there. After visiting the ghost town at night, I'm concluding that if anywhere is going to be haunted, Moonville will be the place. It has all the ingredients necessary, a secluded relic from times gone by with a bloody history, and ghost stories, not to mention unexplained pictures. The history of Moonville is fascinating, and to think that this deteriorating tunnel was the jewel of a once thriving mining town makes a visit there even more special.
A breath of soot into her lungs, a life of journeys and in one. Don't sing that old sad